Monday, July 6th. Welcome back into another episode of Daily Dingers brought to you by Better and Green. Guys, have not been on here in a while breaking down baseball. First show of July, which means we do have to do a June recap. Last time we were on, I was telling you guys that June for the show was not good, but June for my personal bets was very good. So, I've kind of come on here. I've preached less is more. Selectivity in the MLB works for me. I would assume it works for you guys as well, but did just want to do a quick recap before we get into today's plays. We have a brand new week of baseball here. A cautious week, though. It is the last full week here before the MLB All-Star break. So, again, we'll get into the less is more type thing. I would be very cautious this week. Only a handful of plays for myself, more than likely, if that, for the next week in baseball. But recap from June, guys. We ended up going 27, 35, and 4 on the show, minus 9 units. So not a good June. We did very well on the show last June. Couldn't duplicate this year. However, for myself, I hit just under 70% in June in the MLB, gained over 12.5 units of profit. So it was actually my best month in baseball that I think I've probably ever had. Absolutely rolled in June in baseball. So the plays are there. I usually try to give out my best bet for the show, and that's usually the play that I end up on. So had some success dialing in the best bet, but trying to do better on a whole here for the month of July. That being said, July is a very tough month in baseball. This week, you really got to handicap effort and, who is going to come ready to play, who is looking forward to that week off next week. And then coming back from the All-Star break, very tough as well to navigate there. So, yeah, I really look at baseball as a tale of two seasons. I really try to front load the MLB season, make a lot of profit in the front half here, which we've done. We're doing very well in the MLB this season. Very proud. Over, I think, 17.5 units on the season. We started out way down. We were down like 10 or 12 units early. Come all the way back and doing very well in the MLB. So I look to front load those units at the beginning of the season. Then the All-Star break hits, kind of the midway point, and then from there, very, very selective, even more than we usually are, especially out the gate for the remainder of July, early August. August can be decent, and then September, very cautious leading into the postseason. So, yeah, we'll attack it daily on the show. I'll kind of try to help guide you guys day by day with what works for me. Hopefully it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Do what works for you. But so we have 8 games, I believe, on the slate today. 1 day game that we will not be touching on, and then a slew of night games here. So not in love with the card for tonight. Might end up with one play, but not sure if I'll end up forcing anything here. So let's get into the first play. We're looking at 6:40 Eastern start time between the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. We have a pick'em price tag, minus 110 both ways on this one. On the mound, Cam Schlittler going for New York. Gavin Jacks on the mound for Tampa Bay. Last time out, Schlittler got absolutely rocked by the Tigers last week, Tuesday. I expect a bounce back for Schlittler here. I prefer Schlittler over Jacks, although I do like Gavin Jacks as well. Think he's a nice pitcher, but I like the Schlittler side, and I think we're getting a really nice price here on the Yankees. Yankees are just kind of in a free fall. They have won just one of their last 10 games now, 1-9 over their last 10. So, yeah, really not good whatsoever. They got swept by the Tigers at home, then took the opener against the Twins on Friday, lost Saturday and Sunday to the Twins. When a team is struggling at home, especially a team like the Yankees, I like for them to hit the road, start a road trip here. Going to Tampa, it's a big-time series, 2 of the top teams in the AL. And I like leading into the All-Star break as well. The Yankees are on the road, 4 games in Tampa, 4 games in Washington. I think they focus up here, try to right the ship before the All-Star break. They don't want to go into the All-Star break, losing, 15 of 17 or 14 of 17, somewhere in there. If they can have a winning road trip, take 5 out of 7 here, looks a lot better going into the break and can kind of give them that positive momentum coming back out. So I do like the spot here for the Yankees. Hitting the road off the terrible homestand and really the terrible last 10 games. As for Tampa Bay, they're making their return back home. They were on an extended road trip. They're in Kansas City and then in Houston. Swept the Royals 3-0, and then took just 1 out of 3 against Houston. They did lose Saturday and Sunday, so I kind of wish they would have come back and won one of those games, although yesterday I was on the Astros, so I was glad the Rays didn't come back and win that one. Did like the Astros yesterday, and we did have a good weekend as well in the MLB. Went 2-0, I think, played Toronto on Friday, Houston yesterday. But yeah, I don't necessarily love the spot for the Rays. It was a winning road trip. I don't love that they're off back-to-back losses, but coming back home, again, I don't love the spot with the All-Star break looming. They get to stay at home now for 2 series, Yankees and Mariners, and then have the week off with the All-Star break. It's not a great spot for the Rays, in my opinion. I think we get the pitching edge with Schlittler. I think he bounces back after getting kind of shelled against Detroit last week. And I like the spot for the Yankees leaving home where they have really struggled in that last homestand. So Yankees minus 110 is how we're looking at play number 1. Play number 2, we're going to the 6:45 Eastern start time between the Astros and the Nationals. We have the Nationals as a minus 120 home favorite. Even odds coming back on Houston here. We have Michael Burrows on the mound for the Astros. Miles Mikolas going for Washington in this one. 2 pitchers that are pretty even here to me, so not really handicapping the pitching too much in this one. I do like the spot for the Astros, and that is the way I'm looking at even odds. I think it's a nice price here on Houston to kind of start a winning streak here. They have won each of the last 2 games, as we just mentioned, over the Tampa Bay Rays. They are leaving home where they went just 3-3 on their homestand. Took just 1 out of 3 against the Twins, 2 out of 3 against Tampa, including the wins on Saturday and Sunday. So I think that carries some good momentum over to this series with Washington. And similarly to why we like the Yankees, the Astros hitting the road before the All-Star break. I think they focus up for this week, try to get themselves closer to a playoff spot, sitting right around 500 on the year. If they can have a nice 4-2 or 5-1 road trip here, feeling pretty good about themselves heading into the break. So I like that they hit the road, don't have the distractions of being at home with the week off looming. I think it's a good spot for the Astros. As for Washington, they are staying home. They just had a series against the Pirates where they took game 1, lost games 2 and 3, so went 1-2 in that series. Lost over the weekend here, but I don't like that they are staying home. They were home over the weekend. They're home for this series, home against the Yankees, and then have the week off. I just don't think the motivation is going to be quite as high there for Washington as it is for Houston. I prefer the Astros spot here. Even odds, think anything at plus money is a nice price there on the Astros on the money line. And for your final play, guys, 9:45 Eastern start time between the Toronto Blue Jays and the San Francisco Giants. We have the Blue Jays minus 115 road favorite, minus 105 on San Francisco. And similar handicap to this one, I like the Blue Jays on the road here, minus 115. They're continuing a road trip. They were just in Seattle, won just 1 out of 3 games, lost on Saturday and Sunday, got shut out in both games against the Mariners. Now they just travel from Seattle down to San Francisco. Not a far travel whatsoever. And then they have San Diego after that. So a long road trip here. Again, I think they're focused. I think they kind of need to right the ship. 42-48, this team is struggling right now. And, if they can reel off a few wins before the All-Star break, it will have their second half of the season looking a lot better than if they continue to lose here on the road. So I like the urgency here for the Blue Jays. As for San Francisco, not a good team. They are coming back home off of a road trip. Now, the road trip wasn't good. Went just 2-4. Took 1 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks, 1 out of 3 against the Rockies. They did lose yesterday to Colorado. First game back home, no day of rest in between. Just don't love the spot here for the Giants. Their season, they're not playing for much even at this point. They'd really have to go on a big run here to get themselves back into playoff talks. I think they could take their foot off the gas a little bit, start looking forward to next week. And, they're not playing for quite as much, in my opinion, as what the Blue Jays are. Blue Jays, a team that we just saw in the World Series last year, still have a chance to make the postseason, but really going to have to string together some wins. So I do like the spot here for Toronto. It's Kevin Gausman going against Landon Roop here on the mound. I like both pitchers here. 2 pitchers that are fairly similar. Their numbers are similar. Both guys, up near 100 strikeouts, not walking a ton of batters. But I do like Gausman just a little bit better than Roop, but no real pitching edge in that game. I just prefer the spot for the Blue Jays. I prefer the urgency for the Blue Jays. So Guys, that will wrap it for Monday's episode of Daily Dingers. Should be here all week for a full 5-day week of Daily Dingers. But quick recap. Yankees moneyline -110, probably the best bet for the show. Houston moneyline +100. Toronto moneyline -115. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, we're going to be doing World Cup and WNBA again this week. We really took last week off mostly just with the holiday, was traveling and really just needed some time off after, NBA and NHL kind of wore me thin there. And feeling recharged, very happy with how last week went. And we're back for a full week. So if you do enjoy the free MLB plays, the World Cup plays, the WNBA plays, hit that subscribe button for us. That's really all we ask. Hit that like button for us as well if you liked this video. Leave us a comment down below if you have some time. Thank you as always for watching, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for more action on the bases right here on Daily Dingers, brought to you by Better and Green.